Hello everyone, Dan Hendriksen here. Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm up here at Long Ashton Golf Club and we're doing some reviews of the new Titleist irons that are coming out onto the market very soon. And we're going to be looking at the T200 today specifically. I have some amateur golfers up here, I have some brand ambassadors from Titleist, and I have Titleist themselves up here who can tell us a little bit about the new product that is about to come onto the market. Now if you are new to the channel and you like what you're seeing, hit that subscribe button. But for now, let's head over to the range and see what Titleist have to say about these new products.
Hi, so I'm Ben Fisher from Titleist Area Sales Manager for South Wales and the South West. We're here to talk to you about the T200 iron.
Now talk to me about this T200 iron, because out of all the launches that are going on this coming August, this one excites me the most.
Yeah, and I probably wouldn't agree with you there. It's exciting me the most. T200 really billed as the tour distance iron. We're trying to aim this maybe at your high single figure handicap, low double digit handicap. It's the perfect combination of shape, size, feel, forgiveness and distance. We've really tried to model it on the design of T100 and its looks. So very similar offset, very similar size. Really want to appeal to that player that will look down this iron and think, I can game that.
And what's made that change? You know, coming from where you launched the AP3, then when you moved away from AP, you moved into the T200. What's been the sort of change now coming into more of a player's look, should we say?
I don't know. I think we probably listened to player feedback. You know, all the products that Titleist produce go through a seeding process, and we kind of listen to what golfers are asking. So that must have gone into this from our R&D design. So yeah, I think that's probably what's driving it. I think there's been if you look at the iron industry as a whole, there's a big part of that which is a distance focused in irons, but you shouldn't have to give up any of the playability of the spin rates and the land angles and the peak heights that you would typically get from stronger lofted irons, and that's what we tried to achieve with T200.
And just talking to the guys over there doing the fittings earlier on, they were saying that they were starting to see, from the fittings that they've done, they were starting to see some better numbers, better descent angles into the green, maybe a little bit more spin out of these irons. Is that something again you've had to focus on? Yeah,
so there's 100 grams of tungsten being used in this head. That's there for really stability and forgiveness, but also to get the CG positioned in an optimal position to get that launch up. You know, there's a couple of ways that you can make an iron more forgiving. You can either increase the blade length and make the iron big and chunky. Our preference would be to make a great looking iron that uses tungsten, uses these materials that may cost a little bit more, but really are going to drive performance and produce better results for golfers.
Again, we'll just shift the back shot. Really good.
So Mark, welcome to Long Ashton Golf Club, and welcome to the Titleist fitting.
Thank you.
Beautiful little setup, isn't it?
Yeah,
They've got
stunning.
Yeah,
great
so you're a member at Oak Manor?
Oak Manor, yeah.
Oak Manor, and you're up with Lewis, who's the pro over there in the corner there. He's just warming himself up.
Absolutely, showing me up.
Showing you up. So what handicap are you playing off?
9.7.
Very good. And you are currently using, in your golf bag, the
T200s, yeah.
Okay, and so what are you up here to do to have a little test with today then?
Something similar, to be honest. Hitting the T200s fairly well, fairly consistent now. Went through a bit of a bad patch, just pulling them to the left. Oh, mate, I've lost it. But Lesson and Lewis sorted that out. It's obviously not the equipment, it's the operator. But just a really good all-round iron. So just looking at seeing what the new irons are like and getting a feel for where I am and seeing where we go.
What would you like to see from the new iron? Is there anything in particular that's kind of maybe you've seen through the photographs that you may have seen online or anything like that?
Not really. I mean, the T200 is a great looking club, so aesthetically, I'm sure that they're going to be similar, if not slightly nicer than that. I'd like a bit more height from an iron if I could. But to be honest, the T200 has been such a great iron that providing the new technology, adds something else, I think I'll probably be making a purchase today.
Brilliant. Okay, well let's get you hitting some balls, let's get you warmed up and see how they perform for you.
Great, thank you very much.
So I've brought you back to Torquay Golf Club because I actually wanted to hit this club myself and put it through its paces a little bit. I said earlier in the video that I actually was most excited about this particular product out of all the new range that have come out by Titleist, and the reason for that is because I was not a big fan of the old T200 iron. I didn't really know who it was positioned for. It didn't quite sound right to me. It didn't quite look right to me. It wasn't a product that I was wanting to necessarily put in the bag myself. Now, the new range that they've brought out is a completely different story. It's got the kind of looks, when you look down at it, of the old TMB iron that Titleist released back in, I think, the 718 range. It was actually a set that I put into the bag for a little while. It was a great looking set. Now, this one has got a much shorter blade length. The top line is so much thinner, and they've taken away that little bit of offset, and I really think that this iron is going to work so well for players of, well, pretty much all abilities, but it's going to certainly head more towards the better player, the player that wants to look at a slimline club looking down at the golf ball. This one's really going to work. The feel off the face is a much duller feel. I'm actually getting good feedback from this. When I watch and listen to players hit this iron, I can actually get a sense from a coaching point of view where they've hit it off the face, which is something that I really struggle to get with the old T200. So all in all, from my point of view, just hitting this club now, I think they've done really, really well, and I think they're on to a bit of a winner with this particular product.
Right, Lewis, head pro at Oak Manor.
Hello.
You've brought Mark up here today with you. Yep. Great opportunity, isn't it, for Titleist to put this on and bring some of your members up to have a little go. Mark's in the T200. How has T200 gone for you previously from a sales point of view? How's the product worked?
So obviously, given the 100 being seen as potentially a better golfer, the fact you've got more RPM, it spins and goes a little higher, and as a result of that you lose a bit of speed on the ball. The 200 is a really good transition before you hit probably the real distance monster within Titleist, within the 300. So yeah, I'm really pleased for him. He hit the 100 well and fitting, but we just spun it up and we just found that the gap in between the long iron and the short iron just wasn't enough. So create the speed with the 200. Yeah, it's worked really well.
Oh, love the look of that.
That's the one.
Nice.
How's Mark got on with these T2s?
Yeah, brilliant. So Mark come along with a prior generation set of T200s, and they were a little low in flight, little low in peak height, and coming down very shallow in the land angle. We went like for like, and he's absolutely loved them. And then upon a little bit more testing on the shafts, we've gone into a slightly different shaft for him, and we've seen a higher peak height and a better landing angle come for it, and a little bit more distance.
And then he was struggling, we could see it as he was hitting some shots, he was struggling a little bit with that 5 iron in his set, which he's talked about as time's gone by. What did you do differently then?
Yeah, absolutely. So with regards to his 5 iron, he didn't like the look of it over the ball. So we started to introduce a bigger chassis head, and we went up the models to T200, T300, and then in the end we went into a TSI 2 hybrid, and that ball speed just jumped up, and it gave him that great gap in between his 6 iron and going into the hybrid.
Gave him that confidence.
Yeah, absolutely. He was like a different player once he'd hit a few of them. Boys,
so he's been fitted.
Lovely.
And give me your feedback then, Mark. How did the fitting go for you from an individual point of view?
I've always liked the experience of being fitted, because you feel that someone that knows the kit really well, looks at your swing and whatever, and that's what convinced me to buy the T2s I already have. The experience today has been fantastic, and actually looking at every iron in the bag and seeing what we're doing, seeing we're not doing so well, has been great. Yeah, I loved it.
And then moving into the new product, obviously Lewis, you and I have been talking about how excited we are of the new launch of this particular one. How's it gone for you then, Mark? You feel like it's a nicer looking product for you? Or?
Stunning, yeah. I mean, I've always looked at the old T1 and thought, oh, that's a serious golf club. And then you look at the new T2, and I just think it looks fantastic. The current T2 that I had, I thought was great, but this one's a step up.
Is it? And talk about feel then. How does that feel in comparison to what you've currently got?
Just felt. Obviously, I stood up on the tee, hit them really well.
picked up the exact equivalent club in the new range, and just felt just cleaner, softer. You know, obviously the statistics that they got off the TrackMan were fantastic, hitting it higher, longer. Yeah, it's definitely something I'm going to be looking at buying.
And Lewis, from a player's point of view, from when we look at it, should we say, that offset, that profile of the head is definitely a winner, isn't it, this year?
Yeah, the new T200 looks good. Yeah, that both when it's in the bag as when it's sitting down at profile. Yeah, the thinner top line does it. Bit of a compact head, nice.
And then looking at it from a retailer's point of view, when someone walks into that shop appeal.
Oh yeah,
it's got it, hasn't it?
Oh yeah, it is. It's a stunner. Good finish on it. I really like the finish of it. It's nice.
So you struggled a little bit moving up into the 5-iron, and this is something you said you struggled with a little bit in your current set anyway. What kind of happened then?
So I don't hit my 5-iron all that much, but when I do, I look down at the profile of it and think, oh, it's daunting for a mid-handicapper to hit, and I'm not statistically always hit it that well. Did the same here, hit it better, but again I think it was more me than the club. So we've looked at the hybrid now, which has been a complete game changer. Definitely going to be swapping out my 5-iron for the hybrid.
And we see this, don't we, from a coaching, from a fitting point of view, Lewis. You see players that they want to put in that 5-iron from the set or a 4-iron in the set, but actually once they start pinging out those rescues, it does help, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's vanity over reality. Yeah, definitely a case of standing there and going, drop what works, try and get your incremental gapping, try and keep the peak height the same, and as a result of that, you'll know where the gaps are and take out what doesn't work and put in something that does. It becomes easy to, hopefully.
Well, yeah. Well, the statistics said that I was hitting my 7-iron anywhere between 165 to 172. Yeah. And the 5-iron I was barely hitting further than that. Yeah. So it's no point in having it in the bag. But then got that rescue hybrid, and I hit a couple of duff ones because it was hard to try and transition from hitting it like an iron. But then when we hit a good couple of shots, it was massively. 195. So yeah, definitely something I want in my bag.
So there you go, there's an insight into the new T200. Obviously a big thank you to Lewis, a big thank you to Mark for actually going on camera and hitting some shots and giving some feedback on what they feel about these products. And that's what this is all about today. It's not about me hitting shots, giving you the feedback of what I like and feel. It's about what real golfers get, amateur golfers, what you guys are going to have to go through to get some feedback on these irons. Let me know though, put your comments down below. Are these products doing it for you? I'd like to hear down in the comments. Don't forget, if you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, give us a thumbs up if you like what you're seeing, and as always, stay safe, and we'll see you all again very soon.